What's up, everybody? It's Mal with Nftculture. It's been a little bit since we put some video content out. We had an awesome time at Veecon. We all came back, and real life and the pandemic kind of hit part of the team pretty hard. But we're back now. Everyone's healthier than ever. But at Veecon, I had a chance to sit down with Gary Vee and ask him some questions. So it is a recording. I'm going to turn it into a podcast, and you guys can listen to it here in a few minutes. But I just want to say how awesome Veecon was, from seeing old friends like Pio and giving him a hug to seeing new friends that we're building with, like the team at Fan 3, Tommy with King of Midtown, the Ninja Alerts guys and TO, and really seeing some of your heroes and actually sitting down and talking with them, like Trevor Jones and all the amazing artists that are there. It was just an incredible experience. And for me, just being there and walking around and seeing people that were there because of Gary Vee and seeing people that were there for NFTs was incredible. And the ideas that were permeating, the positivity that was going on throughout the entire event was unlike anything else that I've ever seen. And so I thought it'd be cool to share some of the discussion that Gary and I had around the event and everything else. So we'll be back in the near future with more regular content. But for now, I just want to leave you with this, the interview that we had with Gary at Veecon. Everyone take care. It's been a long journey to get here from when you announced Veecon 15 months ago. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But from the announcements that you've made today, this is just the start. What excites you the most in terms of how you brought these people together at arguably the biggest NFT conference with the greatest speaker lineup we've seen today?
Just want to execute. And I'm an operator. I'm a loud guy and put out a lot of content, and I am who I am. But what excites me is delivering on the hyperbole. That's what excites me.
Speaking of operating, when I'm walking around last night, I'm already seeing so many people that are having their own ideas. They're coming together and they're creating what the next generation of NFTs are going to be. Have you thought about not just the first order impacts of what you're doing today, but the second and third order?
More than you can imagine. Notice what I ended with.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Look, I'm going to win. Because that's who I am. I just want everybody else to win along with me.
Right.
And there's two ways I can do that. I can operate really well, which will allow a lot of people to do well on their investments. That's something I can really control. The other part that I can have control is giving them the perspective that they can do this for themselves. And so thank you for seeing that. It's a very big part of my chess game.
Absolutely. And it's refreshing to see the ideation and the culture that you're creating in terms of inclusiveness. And
yeah, look what's going on here. I mean, I have Veecon and I have activations for competitive brands.
Right.
Who does that?
No.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I want to set the tone for better business people. There's not a single conference that I can think of that would have created such levels of activations for brands that are literally, in most people's perspective, competing with that brand. I'm very proud of that because I root for every other NFT project on earth. I really do. I genuinely do. I even like when they're doing better than mine.
Yeah. Well, to that point, we're in an era, it's a new asset class, it's a new generation. When you think of, the cliche rising tide lifts all boats, I view Veecon and what you're doing here as kind of that tide that is lifting everything up.
100,000%. And before I care about all the other projects, I care about the 6,000-7,000 human beings that are here. I want to raise their votes. I want somebody to genuinely decide to start a side project that becomes their career around the thing they like way more than, things like that.
I want to double click down into something else that you talked about a little bit yesterday, and I've seen it throughout your journey in NFTs. One of the big challenges that we have is the crypto bros and that kind of culture with the projects. But the projects outside of Veecon, obviously, but when you do talk about projects, you tend to focus on diversity and inclusion. Why is it so important for you to focus on women-led projects, diverse projects, and those types of things? Because there's not enough of that, but it seems that that's one of your top priorities.
I feel like I'm in the point of my career where I have responsibilities, and I take them serious. And It's not that I don't like guy-led or white guy-led projects. I do and buy them. But yes, I spend effort looking at diverse projects because I want to as a human being, and I think it's good and a positive thing to do, and there's so many good ones, and yeah.
Awesome. Another thing that we're seeing today is the challenge that we have with the ecosystem. Obviously, VeeFriends is doing a lot to onboard collectors, making it accessible from what you've talked about before. You have to have your Coinbase, you have to have your MetaMask and all those types of things. When you talk about technology is hard, humans are easy. What do we have to do to continue this iterative process to make NFTs more accessible? How do we get there? Is it time? That's it.
The cat's out of the bag.
Right.
When I came out and got loud, I promise you something. I'm going to make a promise to myself. Every time I get loud, when I get loud, the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
Got it? Yeah. I don't get loud if the cat's not out of the bag, because then I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Dude, think about what's happened in 15 months.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. It's just going to take more time.
Yeah.
I mean, iPhone, social media, the internet, it takes time. New technologies take time.
Absolutely.
Incredible technologists are creating better products. Solid communicators are educating, and
with that, everyone's saying that we're in this massive bear, and
yes.
Obviously, it's really, when you look at the year-over-year growth, the OpenSea volume for May of last year was like 30 million, and we're in a bear, and it's like 30 million a day. So how do you tell people hey, yeah, if you were to actually broaden your horizon, I talked about yesterday the Fortune 500s. How can you tell people that even though we're in a bear, it's still exponentially more accessible than it was a year ago? And how do you get people to not get fudded?
I don't convince. I just have conviction. If a human being is unable to look at the pure math of what you just said and not understand, then what the hell are we going to convince them? Right? I'm not in the business of convincing people. I'm in the business of executing with conviction and letting the chips fall where they may.
Back to the VeeFriends. You talked about a lot about the accountable and what NFT what can the community do to better drive accountability and focus on those types of efforts?
I think it's the most important word on earth. It's one of the most, not the most, but one of the most. Again, back to conviction and execution. Mm-hmm. What can we do? We can all us happy people that believe in accountability can do a better job talking about it. I can't rely on that. Right. I've learned that I can't convince people to do things. I can only inspire people to parrot my executions. So I'm in the business of executing. What am I going to do? I'm going to make everybody fall in love with accountable ant, which will just make the word accountable be in their head more, which may lead to more people being accountable.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. The final question or final line of questions is we talked about this yesterday at the press conference, but won't name any studios or anything, but when you do think about kind of what, the legacy studios, the public trade, whether it's a game studio or a movie studio, it doesn't matter. A few of them have teased ideation around NFTs, but I believe that the shareholders and just the way the market's set up and the legacy systems isn't conducive to really embracing or actually creating it because of digital ownership. What do you think it's going to take, and how long will it be till the very talented individuals from those game studios, from the movie studios, from the 3D animation studios do exit that? Because for the next generation of this digital ownership, the new IP that's going to exist, it's not going to be created by those.
It's not exiting, it's merging into. It's happening already. I'm interviewing people right now from top gaming studios to be the head of gaming for VeeFriends. So that's somebody that's going to leave.
Right.
But it's going to be a little bit about, but I'm also going to JV with a studio to do something over here. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And studios are agnostic. And by the way, there are different technologies, meaning if it's Angry Birds or Mickey Mouse or Patient Panda, the gaming engine's just injecting that IP, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, it's more about when will Web3 gaming on blockchain technology really work, where you have some of those dynamics.
Yeah.
That's 2, 3, 4 years, I think we'll see that play out. But as far as talent into, it's happening already.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you so much. Hey,
real pleasure. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you for everything.